Ireland during the Neolithic times. The first relics, or the oldest relics in Ireland which are found, are flints near Larne in the northeast of Ireland. They are 8,000 years old. And then 5,000 years ago, the people started to have farms. Now, and the next thing is that when 400 before Christ, the Celts invaded Ireland, and out of that time are many heroic myths of Ireland. Then 500 after Christ, their Ireland had a high king called Ard Rí, and already previously during the time there was Ireland split up in 150 tuatha in kingdoms or clans, and Ireland had then also 5 regions: Munster, Meath, Ulster, Connacht and Leinster. And the high king Ard Rí was ruling from Tara in Leinster. And the people, they were herdsmen or warrior, and they were honouring cows, and also poets, and they had metal pieces like the Tara brooch or the Ardak chalice. And in 432, St. Patrick came to Ireland, and at that time many people became Christians in Ireland. And there were also the monasteries, and for example the Book of Kells was written in the time. Now the people during the Neolithic times, they had barrows or mounds as graves, and also portal graves where there were 3 stones in front of the entrance, and then passage graves. And there's a famous one at New Grange near Dublin, and that thing is 5,100 years old, and there's a narrow passage leading into the mound, that barrow, to the burial chamber, and there's a little roof box on top of that passage, and the midwinter sun, or the winter sun, can shine through it. And at the winter solstice, on the 21st December 858, when the days are shortest in the winter at that day, and the days are getting longer again from that day onwards, but at that day they are shortest, the sun is shining directly through the roof box up into the burial chamber, where also ornamentations are carved in the stone, which had the ritual significance. And that is according to Miles Kell's World History book on the page 188 and 189. If you click this video away, then please tell me what the reason for it was, so that I can improve. Otherwise, hi and welcome. I'm trying to learn history today, Ireland, and after we've done that, we're gonna do leg injury prevention training. And if you participate in the leg injury prevention training, then is that at your own risk. The early Irish. Ireland was settled late. The earliest proof of settlers are 8,000 years old. Flints left on beaches in the northeast, near the modern Irish town of Larne. Flints, do they mean the rifles? I don't think they had flints 8,000 years ago. I don't know what flints are. So Ireland, most people know about this. It is, there's Central Europe, and then there's the United Kingdom, there's Northern Ireland, and there's Ireland. So it was settled late, 8,000 years ago the first settler came there. Near the town Larne, there are flints found. The New Stone Age or Neolithic began when the first farms and permanent homes appeared, 5,000 years ago. 5,000 years ago the first farms were founded, and also people had the first permanent homes. 5,000 years ago the first farms and permanent homes were built. Neolithic people honored their dead with long mounds or barrows called court graves because they have a courtyard at the entrance. They also built barrows called portal graves with 3 huge stones set like a dome. Okay, that is a couple of thousand years ago, so the things now are the things which are standing, so the things built out of massive stone. So we're having a great concentration here on that aspect of their life. And another thing here said is that they had mounds or barrows, known as court graves, because they had a courtyard at the entrance, and there were also portal graves with 3 huge stones at the door, and there they buried the people who had died. The most dramatic remains from earliest times are passage graves, in which a passage leads to a stone chamber. The most famous is New Grange, near Dublin. There are long mounds or barrows called courtyards, and there are portal graves and passage graves. The Celts invaded Ireland in the Iron Age about 400 before Christ, and many of Ireland's rich collection of heroic myths are probably based in this time. 400 before Christ, so 2,400 years ago, the Celts, so from England, Scotland, invaded Ireland, and many myths which are in Ireland told are based on that period of time, what was happening there. Celtic Ireland was split into 150 kingdoms or clans called Tuatha, and later into 5 provinces: Ulster, Meath, Leinster, Munster and Connaught. After 500 after Christ, so 5,500 years ago, there was a high king, Ard the ruling Ireland from Tara in Leinster. That must have been around 400 before Christ. Was Ireland split into 150 kingdoms, which were called Tuatha, and then later on into 5 provinces: Ulster, Munster, Connaught, Meath and Leinster. And then 500 after Christ, there was when a high king selected with the name Ard and he was then in Tara in the province Leinster. Irish Celts were both warriors and herdsmen who valued cows highly. They also revered poets called File, and their metalworks, revealed in items such as the Tara brook and the Arach chalice, is extraordinarily beautiful. Let's read it again. Irish Celts were both warriors and herdsmen who valued cows highly. So there were people who were warriors or soldiers, warriors, and other people were herding sheep or cows. And also the people valued the cows much. They also revered poets, and the metalwork revealed in items such as the Tara brook and the Arach chalice is astronomically beautiful. Did the poets do the metalwork? Poets write normally, or maybe. They also revered poets. But the poets were doing the metalwork. Let's just concentrate on the second part. They also were doing extraordinary beautiful metalwork, for example the Tara brook and the Arach chalice. I don't even know really what is a brook or a chalice. I have no idea what a chalice is actually. Early Celtic priests were Druids but legends says that in 432 after Christ, Saint Patrick came to convert Ireland to Christianity. So there was religion and there were Druids. And when in the year 432 after Christ, there was a person with a name Patrick, so Saint Patrick now, and with him a lot of part of Ireland became Christianized. Irish monasteries became havens of art and learning in the medieval times, in the Dark Ages, in the medieval times, creating the famous Book of Kells. So there were monasteries, so houses where people who were very devout to Christianity live, and they were doing art, and also they were learning, and some people wrote the Book of Kells. The huge burial mound at Newgrange near Dublin was built around 3,100 before Christ, so 5,000 years ago. A long, narrow passage leads to a burial chamber. A long, narrow passage leads to a burial chamber deep inside the mound. Above the entrance is an unusually roof box, a special slot through which the midwinter sun shines into the chamber. The entrance to the passage or to the burial chamber? I think at the beginning of the passage. That makes more sense. Okay, at Newgrange, that is the big thing. There's these two pictures, at least one is a picture, the other is an illustration. There's such a big foreground, the burial mound. A burial mound at Newgrange near Dublin, and that thing is 5,000 years old, and it has a long passage to the burial chamber. And at the beginning of the entrance passage, there's a little room left, so in midwinter the sun shines up until the chamber. I understand it this way. Above the entrance is an unusually roof box, a special slot through which the midwinter sun shines into the chamber. Every year, at exactly 8:58 a.m. on the 21st December, the winter solstice, the rising sun shines through this roof box and down the passage to light up the burial chamber. a.m. 8:59. It is early in the morning. It is shortly after sunrise in winter in Ireland. Okay, there's this one box or whatever, so there's a way made beside the way where people can walk. I don't know if it is intended that people walk there, for which the sunlight can shine in, and that happens every year at the 21st December when the sun is the lowest in the northern part of the earth, the island is. So the sun is, the earth stands completely to the sun like that, and then it comes really just from the side in Ireland, and the sun rises around 8:30 I would say in Ireland, 8:40, maybe even directly 8:58, but it would be interesting. But I think it's more 8:40, 8:30. It would be very interesting if it would be directly the first light of the day or just a little bit later. Whatever it is probably not directly the first light. It is only very dim, but maybe a minute or two later. Now, and the Earth stands like that, and then the Earth goes around, and even if it stands, and in the summer it stands like that, then the sun hits Ireland directly, and Ireland has way more sun. The sun doesn't rise at 9 o'clock in the morning, but already at 5 in the morning. But in the winter, at the winter solstice, that is the moment when it rises the latest, when the Earth is standing the most away. If it stays here, it still hits it in autumn halfway. So the sun goes up into the middle, but when it's exactly here, the Earth, and the 21st December each year, and the 22nd is already a bit here, and so on, when it's exactly on the 21st December, the Earth is always exactly at that point, and that is the way the sun comes the most from the side and hits Ireland very late. And at exactly 8:58 stands the Earth and the sun exactly like that. You can just look on the map, and it happens every year just at that time. So if you pay attention, over a few hundred years you find it out. But the sun is exactly then there, but you have to measure time. And then you know where exactly will be the sun, and then you make a little hole, and now you have the sun shining directly into the chamber. One of Newgrange's most distinctive features is the ornamentation, especially the carved spirals, which had a ritual significance. So there are also these spirals which are here illustrated in this illustration, and they had also a significance in some ritual. Do we say? That was the history part. If you were here for history, you can go directly to the next part of history, where we will read it all again and try to memorize it and try to say most of it from memory as a little presentation about the early time of Ireland settlements of first 5,000-6,000 years. If you stay here and participate in the leg intervention training, then sit at the hours. Go to stable standing stance and swing the leg in front and to the side. Other foot in front and to the side. And the first foot again in front and back. And the foot again in front and back. And now one leg up, hands out, and cross. Cross again. Middle and down, other leg up. Cross. Cross again. Middle. And now, the leg up, and press with the knee up and to the side. Upper leg, up and to the side. Now stand good on one leg. This exercise can go onto the leg, onto the knee. Turn over to the leg, go down into the knee, turn slowly, carefully, control over, and come up again. Other leg, stand good, turn over, down, slowly over, up. And now have a good standing leg and reach always with the heel to imaginary 90-minute intervals of an imaginary dial of a clock. Last two there. Now same with the other leg to 12 o'clock, 1:30 and 3, and 10:30 and 9, 7:30 and 6, and 4:30 and 3 o'clock. The heel onto the ground, and don't do it if you are pregnant. Lift the heel off and place it again onto the ground. Upper heel and lift it off and again onto the ground. And now one leg up and down. Other one up and down. And now one leg in, out. And if you like, you can do the camel so the whole body moves now. And now if you like, you can the whole leg swings. And the last one. And the other leg. First the horse, the leg just in and out. And if you're willing and able, the camel, the whole body moves. Now the whole leg swing. And the last one. Legs wide apart, breathing it down. Again in. And out. Breathe in and close the legs. And breathe out. That was the leg injury prevention training. Thank you very much and have a nice day.